Hi gang, welcome to the 20th climate change rally. It is it's May 10th. Wasn't sure what day it was. Gets confusing. So it's May 10th, 2019, Gettysburg, PA, USA. It's the 20th rally, as I said before. Looks like it'll be me by myself as usual, which is shameful for the world and the United States especially. So presently the CO2 level is pushing 415 parts per million. It should be backing down at this point because the trees are kicking in with their oxygen and removing CO2 from the atmosphere, but it doesn't seem to be happening. I guess the policies of many of the world leaders, including our own policies in the United States, is to just drill baby drill and burn baby burn. And in the end, that's exactly what's going to happen to all of us. We're going to burn baby burn. So 415 parts per million on the edge of it. 350 is the uppermost limit of survivability for life on Earth, including most life on Earth. There is a 10 to 20 year time lag between CO2 level and temperatures catching up, and then you get feedback loops start happening as they are now with methane and nitrous oxide as a greenhouse gas. So it's really severe. So, if we don't control the CO2 situation, and obviously the United States is not on board with that, with all their, gas guzzling vehicles, as we can see as the parade of cars continues here in Gettysburg. Unless we got control of the CO2 level, we're pretty well frying our own selves. And, based on the math, I could be off by 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. It doesn't matter. We're splitting hairs in a long-term thing. But it looks like within 7 to 10 years, we're going to be in a severe, dire situation like total food chaos and habitat loss and fires and droughts and floods. The warmer the atmosphere gets, the more water vapor can be held in the atmosphere. And then you get these giant deluges, as they're seeing in Houston for another time. This isn't even a hurricane this time. They've gotten 12 inches of rain in 24 hours. So before that, they got 60 inches of rain with the hurricane that sat and spun and didn't move for days. So you get a shredded jet stream, except for now. Right now you got a situation in Gettysburg where you got a storm coming in, so you'll get wind. But after that goes through and the storm's done, there is no push by the jet stream. And the reason behind that is the Arctic is warming up at a quicker rate, and there's less difference between the tropics and the Arctic, so the jet stream is meandering all over the place. So you'll get a hurricane and it'll just come in and stay, or you'll get drought and it'll stay, or you get into a weather pattern where it just rains all the time. So the situation is not a good situation. So you got the Iowa and Nebraska farmers who have a lot of them have lost their land totally because of the floods. It brought silt and sand in, as well as the salts, and their farms are unusable. So a lot of them were storing their soybeans because of the trade tariff wars with China, and they were hoping the price would go up. So they lost their soybeans in storage, and they're losing their crops in the field, which they never did plant because they can't get in the fields, and now the fields are ruined. Same kind of situations happening around here. We're going to get 2 inches of rain here in the next, I think from Saturday to Monday. And I'm seeing areas on the battlefield that are developing channels that were never there before, such as stream channels. So it's very interesting to watch, but it's very horrific to realize what the outcome is going to be out of all this. We're going to run out of food eventually. The world will, and we'll take it out on the lesser nations first, as we'll protect our own, as any nation does. But you're engaged in a trade war with everything, and soybean prices will go up. And no, they won't. I'm sorry. The soybean prices will hold steady because what China will do is buy soybeans from Brazil, who will then rip down more rainforest so that they can grow more soybeans, which causes a feedback loop in itself. So you got a whole situation of greed and corruption and total disconnect from nature as to what's going on. People think they're walking out in nature by walking these sidewalks, and it has nothing to do with nature. They're in a city, so they're not in touch with nature, and they don't see what's happening. Or if they do, they forget how things used to be. Spring was a specific time where you had a specific temperature, and then summer would come. Well, we're getting these wild fluctuations here of up to 80 degrees and then down to 40 degrees. So it's just a really weird situation. Then, as I said, we're going to get all this rain and everything. So it is now summertime for college students in the country, and I see not one college student stumbling around. No one's engaged. Everyone's sleeping in or playing their little video games. And these college kids, actually, in 7 years, they're not going to have a career or life. And they let it pass by. And they're well in touch with the media and everything to figure out what's going on. And instead, they're using the computers and their telephones for the wrong reasons, which is self-entertainment. And there's no activity. You see the young crowd walking by, as right now, and no one stops. I have all these signs that say, about climate change and warnings and stuff, and no one stops by and talks. And it's a really weird situation, having grown up in the 60s and 70s. The hippies were all about doing things. Now the hippies are gone. They become corporatists. They might think they're hippies and Democrats and whatnot, but they're not engaged. They should be out here in droves. On every corner we should have 4 or 5 people. We don't. So the hippies in the United States are dead and gone. They've become self-centered and all about themselves, and they've lost everything. What happened to Earth Day? And it came and passed. No one even knew it. So you got that. You got the college students, you got the hippies, and you got the retarees who have more than enough time to do their research. And I had retired when I was 49, which I was fortunate to do. And so I had the time to do the research on climate change. And that's why, I became knowledgeable about it. And then I influenced my wife, and she's influenced a couple people as well. So if you have the time as a retiree, you should be the inspiration for the younger generation and be educating them. It shouldn't be left up to high school kids and elementary school kids and middle school kids to come up with the solutions and to protest in the street. Adults need to grow up, in the United States especially, and become less self-centered and actually think about the next generation that's coming up. You're not leaving a good legacy behind, and in fact you're leaving no legacy behind, because in 7 years, very well your children could be dead, your grandchildren could be dead. And I guarantee you within 30 years, there's no way anyone's surviving. So unless we get to this soon and right away, it's a horrible situation coming, and you wish you would have done something and made yourself uncomfortable with your friends and neighbors. Instead, you're chicken shit and you won't get out there and do anything. Sorry to say that, but that's the way it is. So hope to see someone out here next week, and I'll try again. Don't forget, May 24th is the big climate change, hold on. May 24th is the big climate change rally around the world, and it should be, hopefully, quite amazing. Last time on March 15th, there were 1.5 million school kids on strike, and this May 24th, hopefully the United States will start getting involved. So hope to see someone out here soon, someday, somewhere, somehow, but really it's not about me, it's about you and climate change and your children and grandchildren, and even if you don't have children, you still need to get out here and do your part. And it's a moral issue, it's a religious issue, it's every kind of issue. So take care, see you later, bye.